Professor, thank you so much for joining us on WION. And welcome back. How valid is these claims made by the Democrats that the White House is just lacking accountability and slashing the workforce? I did hear one politician just now say that it's unconstitutional and these executive orders are illegal. But are they really?
Well, I mean, effectively, the executive orders do have the force of law, but they can be challenged, and that's what's happening. The courts, there's over 40 court cases and growing by the day. And so we will find out. They'll go through the courts. I mean, Congress could challenge also, but they're not doing that. Congress is really totally on the sidelines for this process.
Right. I did hear Elon Musk say that if he had to, he would go to Congress as well. So the Trump administration during the campaign season, at least prior to becoming the Trump administration, President Trump himself really promised that he would take these cost-cutting measures. Doge was in the mix. Many people were talking about it. So why are a lot of people surprised right now that this is actually happening?
Well, I think he talked about it. I don't think there was a lot of detail of how it would take place. And I think that people are upset in part because the approach has been to just kind of shut things down, shut everything down as much as you can, and then see what kind of pushback you get. That's certainly what, like with the U.S. Agency for International Development, they've essentially completely shut it down, as opposed to kind of looking at what is taking place and are there areas to make reductions in kind of a measured manner. But that's not the approach that Trump is interested in taking.
And what about the workers who are sacked and also these hiring freezes and the buyouts that we hear about? Will it lead to more efficiency, in your opinion, or create fewer jobs?
Well, there could be some efficiencies achieved. That's certainly possible. I mean, there are approximately 3 million federal civilian employees. So, would there be ways to reduce and continue with services? Probably. But the thing to also realize is that there's about 3 million federal employees, but that number hasn't changed much for probably the last 40 years. Actually, the federal government does more of its activity through contracts and contracted employees than through federal employees, civilian employees. So it's interesting. Trump is really going after both, trying to reduce the number of federal civilian employees, but also cutting back on contract employees, which is the larger number, actually.
Very interesting. Okay, we'll be watching very closely. I know Elon Musk yesterday said that he wants to head to the Pentagon as well, and many analysts believe that's where the real dent will probably happen, if anything, with those Pentagon budgets and whatnot. But I look forward to speaking to you again very soon as we follow this story very closely. Thank you, Professor Forts, for joining us.
My pleasure.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.